Hey guys, my name is Megan. This is my leopard gecko Maple. And back there is my little brother Josh. He really wants to be in a video, so I'm just letting him hang out in the background. And anyway, as you can tell from the title, today I am going to be talking about what to feed your leopard gecko. So let's get started. So first I'm going to talk about what they eat. Like, do they eat fruits and vegetables, or do they eat meat? That kind of stuff. So the only thing that leopard geckos eat is actually bugs. They do not eat anything else but bugs. So they won't eat fruits or veggies. They won't eat meat such as chicken or pork. They won't eat any special leopard gecko pellets. They won't eat anything but bugs. The bugs must be live, and you also must gut load them, because if you gut load your bugs, then they will be nice and healthy, and then your leopard gecko will be healthy. I plan on making an entire separate video showing you how to gut load and care for your feeder bugs. Please do not give your leopard gecko freeze-dried bugs. This is because of two reasons. First, dried bugs have no nutritional value at all. They're basically like plain little chips. So yeah, your leopard gecko can survive on them, but your leopard gecko won't be very healthy at all. Also, a lot of leopard geckos will refuse to eat dead bugs. My leopard gecko has to see the bug moving before she tries to go get it. Now I'm going to talk about what type of bugs to feed your leopard gecko. The two most common bugs that people feed their leopard gecko are mealworms and crickets. These are the two bugs that I feed my leopard gecko. I have never fed her anything else but these two bugs. Some other common bugs that you can feed your leopard gecko are dubia roaches, superworms, and waxworms. There are lots of other bugs that you can feed your leopard gecko. These are just the most common ones. Also, waxworms are super fatty, so I only recommend feeding them if your leopard gecko needs to gain weight or just as a treat once every 2 weeks. It is best to give your leopard gecko a variety of bugs so they don't get bored of eating the same exact thing all the time, and also it is just more healthier for them. I also recommend giving your leopard gecko lots of bugs that will run around their enclosure, such as crickets, because that way your leopard gecko can have lots of fun hunting them. Now I'm going to talk about where I get my bugs from and also how much they cost. I always get my crickets from either Pet Supermarket or PetSmart. I get either 3 or 4 dozen, and it costs me around $4 or $5. There are also a lot of other bugs that you can get from PetSmart or Pet Supermarket, but I'm not really sure how many are alive. I've never gotten anything else but crickets from one of those chain pet stores. There are also tons of online breeders that you can get your bugs from. I used to get my mealworms from Rainbow Mealworms, so that's one place where you can get them from. And it was around $15 or $10, I don't really remember, for maybe 500 or 250 of them. The shipping can be kind of expensive from online breeders. You can also actually get live bugs, especially mealworms. I've done this a lot with mealworms, off of Amazon, and so far it's gone pretty well. Most of them have come out alive, so you can also do that. And on Amazon, they usually cost around $10, $12, $15 for mealworms. Now I'm going to talk about how often you should feed your leopard gecko. The great thing about leopard geckos is that they don't need to be fed every single day once they become an adult. So if you ever want to go on a vacation for the weekend, you don't have to worry about getting someone to watch your gecko. So when your leopard gecko is 0 to 6 months old, you have to feed them every single day. Once your leopard gecko is 6 months up to a year, you will feed them every other day. Once your leopard gecko is a year old and for the rest of its life after that, you will feed them either every 2 days or every 3 days. My leopard gecko is around a year old and I feed her every 2 days. Whether or not you feed them every 2 days or every 3 days really depends on how big of an appetite they have and their weight, that kind of stuff. It each depends on the individual leopard gecko. Now I'm going to tell you how much food I give my leopard gecko whenever I feed her. The amount of food you give your leopard gecko really depends on its appetite, its weight, and that sort of stuff. I personally give my leopard gecko 6 crickets and 1 or 2 or 3 mealworms when I feed her. So now I'm going to be showing you how I feed my leopard gecko. I always feed Maple around 8 o'clock at night because leopard geckos are nocturnal. Tonight she is getting 6 crickets. I keep the crickets in this tub right here, and before I feed them to my leopard gecko, I will always put them in a bag to dust them with either multivitamins or calcium powder. You must supplement your leopard gecko's food for every single meal. This is very, very important because if you do not do this, they will likely become very sick, which of course you do not want that happening. I plan on making a separate video later on talking about what type of vitamins your leopard geckos need and also how often you feed them each vitamin. So here is Maple. She is ready to eat. And when I'm feeding her crickets, I usually just release them in the cage and she will hunt them all within at most an hour. When I'm feeding her mealworms, sometimes I'll put them right in front of her and she'll eat them right there and then, or I will put them in her little mealworm dish.